We are about to begin, but before, let's give thanks. Like Grace. Inspect All Pest Services. They're the best in the state of Georgia. Metro Atlanta, surrounding area, inspectallservices.com. Termite pest, wildlife control at the highest quality you can get, plus insulation, pressure washing, gutter maintenance, and more. The Aurora Law Firm, that is one Mad Dog Manny Aurora, who you heard on yesterday's episode, and we'll hear again. Based out of Georgia, but litigates across the United States. The AuroraLawFirm.com. Criminal defense, white-collar crime, DUI, you name it, the Mad Dog will argue it. And then Ridgeline Counseling, Dr. David Markwell, markwelltherapy.com. Reach out to him, ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. 3 locations in Georgia, but can do virtual sessions wherever you're at. If you need help, get help. And he's the best in the business. 3 locations in Georgia across from Sprayberry High School, Sandy Plains, East Cobb, Marietta, Union Square, and McKaysville outside of Blue Ridge. markwelltherapy.com or email directly ridgelinecounseling@gmail.com. Let's begin. All right. Here we go. Freebie episode 3, 2, and 1.
What do we want to talk about?
To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Welcome to the Bailey Show podcast, a guy show women love to listen to.
Intellectually immature nonsense.
That's
BS.
That's BS.
Yes.
That's BS.
Okay, man, let's do it.
All right, there it is. Your Freebae episode this week, episode 179 of the BS podcast. Thanks for being here. My name's Jason Bailey. Right there, that is the B-Man, Brandon Thrasher. What up, B-Man?
Yo, what up? How's it going, folks?
Still out in the open, not arrested. He's alive and well. Look at him go. And there's the Iron Fisted one, Chuck Lunsford. Hello, Chuck.
Hey, man, if you got any inside lines on some sports betting, let me know. I'm ready to make some bets.
Are you a big sports bettor? As we learned yesterday with Mad Dog, I didn't realize you're a big sport. Like, do you have a problem? You need help?
That's all I do, man. That's all I do. I take those bets that, it's like $20 and the odds are so good that you're going to win like 10,000. But I also picked Colorado to win the college national championship last year.
Oh, yeah. Those first 2 weeks, it was looking like it. I think everyone lost on that bet right there.
I thought I was going to do it, man.
So you're not a good bettor. You're a long shot bet. Like that's what I do.
I'm a long shot. Yeah, I'm a long shot bettor.
That's what I do for the Super Bowl. Like that's the only sports betting I'll do. I'll do prop bets that are fun, like 400 to 1, 800 to 1. And most of the time, I usually come out on top, but not a lot. Like I'm doing $10 a bet. I'm not a big. There was a show. It's not on anymore. I think it only ran for 1 season. It was like the era of reality television where they had like these reality shows on everything. I found this one really interesting. It was about sports betting. There was this guy who's a big sports bettor out of Vegas, and these people with tons of money would fly in, private jet, and he would do like a parlay where he would hedge his bets, and because it's reality television, it's all staged. Some win, some lose, some get mad, some don't. Every time he comes out on top, he looks great, blah, blah, blah. But these people are betting $100,000 on Wofford College to win, like just the oddest bets, because those are the best odds. And you have to hedge your bets. Like if you're going to do 3 bets, if you're going to do something like that, you go for a conservative long shot, right? And I don't know. I'm not a sports bettor. I'm just assuming you go for a conservative long shot, right? You go, and then you go for 2 safe ones so you can hedge them. That's kind of the idea. Unless you're really big risk, big reward, and you go long shot, and then hedge, maybe. I don't know.
Well, yeah, the big one to do is like right now. So if you do a parlay and you choose the overwhelming favorite for MLB, right? Let's say the Dodgers. If you say the Dodgers are one of your 3 teams, and then you do the overwhelming favorite for college football, which would be, I'm going to say Georgia. With Nick Saban being out, Georgia's probably a good opportunity for them to win another national championship. But then you choose an unreal underdog for NFL. So let's say you say the Cleveland Browns, right? And you bet that parlay, those 3, and you put $1,000 on it, it's going to pay out north of $105,000.
Yeah.
Well, if the Dodgers win, then they're going to make you an offer. They're going to say, hey, walk away now. We'll give you 20 grand and you take it. And but that Browns bet's what got you that 102,000.
Those
But
odds.
the hedging the bet, man, that's the way to do it. So that's what I do. I always MLB, I take the overwhelming favorite, and then I go crazy with the NFL, and I kind of go crazy with college too. But
that's the last time I did outside of the prop bets for the Super Bowl, which by the way, Bovada, it's very difficult to get paid. I will never use them again. They used to send you a check, right? Now it's all Bitcoin. You have to, they'll transfer it for Bitcoin. It's a pain in the ass to get paid off of Bovada.
It's more ideal that way. That way you can still bet in states that's not legal, even if you're using a VPN, it doesn't get traced, and then you don't have to worry about getting taxed on it.
Yeah, I mean, so I still have money in there, so I'm just going to transfer it to my wallet, I guess, and probably buy more anus, which is up. So anyway, the only time that I was really in on placing a sports bet, this was a couple years ago, when Matt Ryan went to the Indianapolis Colts, and I drove up to, I was going to Harrah's anyway in Murphy, North Carolina, and I go up there to play Mississippi Stud, but I went up there to specifically place two bets. One, that the Colts were going to win the AFC, and two, they were going to win the Super Bowl. And the theory was not that Matt Ryan's the greatest quarterback or was the greatest quarterback in the NFL, but the theory was that if you looked at the 2 years prior or the last 3 years, you had a run of quarterbacks changing teams, like to go off of the NFL script, right? Quarterbacks changing teams, they won Super Bowls. You had Matt Stafford and you had Tom Brady, Patriots, the Bucks, Lions, the Rams. And I was like, everything happens in threes. I feel it. Jonathan Taylor just coming off being the best running back in the NFL. They've got decent receiving core, right? So I'm like, decent defense. I'm like, I'm in. Wow. Was that a bust? I was so disappointed.
What were the odds on that though?
They were big. I mean, I put 100 down on both, and if I would have won, it was huge. And I forget what they were, but it was big enough to go, wow. Like I'd walk away with some big money. Like you see, like the bets, like Portney from Barstool. Like some of the bets that guy bets crazy. I love watching. I love that guy. I absolutely love watching and listening to that guy.
He bet I think 300,000 on Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters, and I think he won out like 1.4 or something like that. That's crazy. When
you got that kind of money, it's just a different world,
Well, then you got content also, because people are watching. They want to be like, let's see what's really happening. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of these events, like I know with it's not Prize Picks, it's another one, that whatever one that Drake deals with, a lot of the time they just give him money to bet with. So that way people just see it on his Instagram. They're like, oh shit, I'm gonna go on here if Drake's betting on this app. I think maybe something like that with Portnoy. I don't know about, probably the Masters probably aren't paying them to be like, hey, put a bet on someone you like. Maybe other sports organizations or someone might be like, or a betting app be like, hey, we'll give you money to bet on here. And if you win, you win. If not, you're not really out anything, but we got a lot of other people betting because of you.
Yeah, believe it or not, though, there's actually rules behind people giving you money to bet. We used to host a poker tournament years and years ago when I was doing radio in Orlando, and we go to the Hard Rock, which is Seminole Indians and the tribal council there, and the other poker tournament that we would do in Daytona, it's no Indian land at all. It's just owned, So they would pay for our entry into the tournament, and if you won any money, you got to keep it. The Seminoles would not do that. They said if they paid for your money into the tournament, any money you win would have to go to charity. And so they would pay you a talent fee to come out, and you could buy your way into the tournament, which essentially is kind of the same thing, where you're not really you're getting a free entry into the tournament kind of thing. So with these guys, there are, I believe, laws on who can back you. Like the Caesars can't say, hey, I'm going to give you, I want you to advertise our app, but also I'm going to give you money specifically. I'm going to give you money specifically to gamble. They can pay you for your services and you can use that money. There's ways around it. Yeah. So Brandon thinks, Chuck, that I should start talking more about me playing poker because I do it so much. He thinks that one, that's good social content, which I agree with. But here's the rub on that is I'm a decent poker player, I'm not a great poker player. I can talk poker, but I'm not a smart, like these, like these kids that do all these rundowns and they analyze these hands and stuff. I mean, it's crazy. I watch these YouTube videos all the time. These people are brilliant. I'm not nowhere near a Daniel Negreanu or a Phil Ivey or a Phil Hellmuth or any of those types of people. Brennan thinks that I should do it just as an amateur trying to win some money. You think that's
I don't know, man. That's the same as me. Like I'm very average, well below average at golf. But I mean, that's like me talking about golf. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
that's where Jason is with poker. I mean, he's all right.
Well, hold on for a second. Hold on. Let me stop you there. I don't know anything about golf, and I don't know about your golf game, but I will tell you that as far as poker goes, I know I'm better than you at poker by a long shot.
I didn't say poker. I said golf. I said golf.
Not only am I better than you, I'm better than all of your friends at poker.
I think I could run you. I could run you in poker, like in a real game. Because you have tells. You have tells.
No, I don't.
You have a way of playing that I can read you.
That's not even poker language, what you just said right there. I can run you and that's not even poker talk. Okay, so that's how dumb you sound right now. That's like, okay. I went to a house. Okay, Brandon, let me tell you a story. Chuck asked me one day. He goes, "Hey, my buddy has a monthly poker game. You want to come over and play?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, that's cool. I'll come over and play." I was like, what is it? 1-2? What do you mean 1-2? Those are the blinds. $1, $2. He's like, "Oh no. It's not that big of a game. That big of a game? What are you talking about?"
That's not what I go, said.
What is it? He's like, "Well, we play with pretzels." And
you get the chocolate covered ones if you win.
Right.
He said,
like,
no, Jay, you
Charlie
said to me, "Hey man, it's got to be at least $100 or it's not worth me driving over there."
I do remember that because I think he said it or you said it at one point. We talked about this a long time ago. That phrase was familiar to me.
About the pretzels?
No, about the $100 or it's not worth.
Yeah. Because he was adamant, and when he showed up, I mean, and Jason, he's adamant, like he's going to get his money quick. Like he's there for 10 minutes, and he's taking people out of the game. And if you have me at your home or a friend home, and it's your friend, I'm not going to go in there and just like rob everybody blind, because they're there, for 5 minutes. Guys are buying in again, like after 6 minutes, and Jason's over there like stacks of chips in front of him, and he's like, "I'm the greatest poker player alive." No, dude, these guys are freaking like blindsided. You're a freaking hustler. So it depends on which room you walk into. You walked into a room of amateurs, and you are a semi. I'm gonna say like you're a collegiate poker player, right? And you're playing poker with like a bunch of high schoolers, right?
What?
But like me, like in my poker prowess, I'd say I'm like a semi-professional. So, I don't play down to people, but I also know when there's not talent at the table. I look around and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to throw these guys a bone. I'll let them win. I might have a pocket. I might have aces, and I'll fold, whatever, give them a chance.
Stop talking, Chuck. Listen, you're right and I'm wrong. I apologize. I didn't realize until now that I was dealing with an everybody gets a trophy room. So I thought you guys were tougher than that. You're military vets. These guys, are dudes, they're fellas, they're drinking beer, they're burping, they're eating pretzels. I didn't realize that I was amongst the spritzer drinking, eating lady fellas of wherever the hell you live in Georgia. That's my fault that I was supposed to. I guess when you go out and play golf, you're like, "Oh no, just kick it closer to the hole. That one looks too far to putt." I didn't realize I was a part of that group.
It's like taking people's balls away. I mean, it's 9 o'clock and Jason's like sitting at a table all alone, surrounded by chips, and like nobody's playing anymore because they're all out of money. And Jason's like, "Well, guess it's time for me to hit the road," and everyone's like, "Well, thanks, have a good day," and everybody's like, "Well, I guess I'm going home.
I'll take my barrel of pretzels and I will leave."
You invited me to come over and play poker. You're right. I did say the $100. I said, "Look, when I have a game, it's a friendly game. It's a 1-2 game. I tell people the min buys $100 and you can rebuy when you get down to 50. and to probably bring around $400 or $500 with you. You know, you should have at least 3 rebuys with you. So maybe $300, you know, not a big deal. Whether you have money or not, I don't have money. I'm not rich, but if I'm going to gamble, right? The 2 rules of gambling: don't gamble unless you have money to lose. And 2, if you're not having a good time, leave. Those are the 2 rules of gambling. So you're there for the entertainment, you're there for the good time, but you're also there to accomplish your goal. And in poker, it's to win, which means making money. You're not supposed to just chip out because you feel bad for the guy in the corner that's drooling from his bottom lip and he's in a wheelchair. That's not my problem that he was drunk driving. You know what I mean? So, like, I don't know what to tell you.
Sometimes it's about the social engagement. Sometimes, like, and that's with everything. I mean, you know, you can use golf as an example, or any other sport really. And you're playing with people that maybe don't have your level of ability in that sport. If you're really good at it, that's like when I go out and play basketball with my kids, just like, you know, freaking slapping it back in their face. And
that's what you do.
Instead of being like, you know what, it's all about the fun. I'll let them score once in a while. But, you know, I mean, that's the rule. That's rule 3 of poker.
It's not the rule 3. You're the problem with this world. That's why you people. You should move to California. You'd fit in great. Let me tell you, you'd fit in perfect. I'll swap houses with you.
Every time I'm at the table and I lose a hand, I'll be like, all right, well, Jason, I'm going to need that 30% back because I need to stay in the game.
So anyway, my point is, Brandon, I do like the idea. I think that it would, at least, you know, to my audience, you know, this is a Freebae episode. So I think that, you know, because like Chris on the 2 Peers, he's a big poker player. We got a lot of poker people.
You should do a poker game, like whenever you get wherever you're going. Well, it's kind of hard now. You're not in Georgia, but you definitely need to get a game put together. Like if we do a podcast and pours, but like poker players won.
Ooh, a poker tournament.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And then we could actually show Jason get taken out by Chuck. That'd be great.
Yeah, there you go. Content writes itself, man. See, it's already a great idea.
I'll tell you what, I'll go on the record right now. I got $1,000 side bet that will not happen.
Okay, well, I'm not betting 1,000, but I'll bet 200.
I'm sorry.
So then my limit.
If
I'm
Chuck
sorry.
For side bet, for my side bet.
I'm sorry, not $1,000. I'm sorry. A Costco size thing of pretzels.
Now, if Chuck wins, I get that $1,000, right?
No, why?
Okay, someone's got to hold it, and you know you lose it anyway. Who would it go to?
No, I win. It's not money anymore. It doesn't matter. It's pretzels. He deals in pretzels. He's a pretzel guy. That's what we call him. Anybody on social media today, I want you to go Chuck on the BS on Facebook and Instagram and say, "What's up, pretzel boy?" That's what you call him, pretzel boy.
My wife's from Hanover, Pennsylvania. You know, that is the pretzel capital of America.
Now I know that, and I could have lived my whole life been cool. Not
She come from a pretzel making family?
Oh, they're Pennsylvania Dutch, dude. They live in potatoes like their whole life. Like potatoes to Pennsylvania Dutch is like rice to Japanese people. I mean, it's crazy. Like they eat potatoes all the time. So not really pretzels, but potatoes.
Hey, Brandon, you want to know when Chuck found out his wife was from the pretzel capital of the world?
Yes.
The day they tied the knot.
No. Okay. I was thinking of a pretzel show. I could come up with that quick.
Oh, I hope he doesn't get salty over that joke. I'm sorry. Was it not funny? Did it not cut the mustard?
Oh my God.
Don't get it twisted.
These right now?
Yeah, these are great. Let's go. I spend a lot of time in this poker room, man. I love it. These people are great too that I get to meet. It's good, but I don't understand. Like, I know I bubbled this last weekend, which is the worst thing you can do, like in a tournament. It means that, well, for example, this tournament, which was light, usually have over 100 people. They had 93 people. It's a Saturday tournament that I play. It's it's a $250 buy-in, $250 to buy in. It's $20,000 guaranteed. And you start out with 20,000 chips. It's a good tournament. It's a really good tournament. And you can buy back in up until a certain time. And which is kind of dumb because I always run deep in the tournament. And then when you get to a certain range, it's like if you only have 10 blinds, it's pointless. You're just shoving. So it's not a smart move. But anyway, I run deep in the tournament. 2 weeks ago, I semi-bubbled, which means that if the top 14 pay, you're out at 15. Okay. You've bubbled. That's a legit bubble. 2 weeks ago, they paid the top 14 or 15, maybe 16. Yeah, 16. I bubbled at like 21. So I was out 3 before the money. Sucks. Horrible feeling. It's even a worse feeling this past weekend when they were paying out the top 14 and I bubbled at actually they pay out 14 on the board, but what they usually do is they then reevaluate and they usually pay out the top 15. So I bubbled at 16 before they made that decision. And I'm like put in the situation where I'm short stack, which is the idea not to be short stack, but I'm usually short stack at this time. And then you come up with a hand. And in this case, I had pocket 8s. And so I shove, right? With not a lot of chips. Of course, somebody's going to call me with a decent hand. Of course, the guy that calls me is like, poker players always have hands that usually you like to play. In a cash game, I love 7-4. Poker players right now are going 7-4. Are you kidding me? Next time you play poker and you look at a board, meaning the 5 cards that are out, the flop, the turn, and the river, every time there's a set, not every time, but like 80% of the time, there's a 7, there's going to be a 4. If not 7-7-4, it's odd. It is just so weird. It's creepy. So I love 7-4, and I usually win with it. King 10 is my death hand. Anytime I play it, I always lose. Anytime somebody plays against me with it, they always win. What did this guy have to bubble me? King 10. He hit a 10.
So when you're saying bubble and those like let's say you were at I don't know 16 whatever, but they bubbled at 15, your entry was $250. If you would have stayed in, let's say you made it to 14, what was the payout at 14?
It's like 560 or something like that.
Oh
so,
wow.
Yeah, so you got your money back in 250. Yeah,
that's not bad at all.
Where you at for the year? Are you're in the red? You in the green? You about even?
Well, last couple of weeks have not been kind to me, so I'm actually in the black. Yeah,
I mean, like kind of in the neutral.
No, I'm down.
Oh, okay. I thought that meant red.
What is the
red? Yeah, you're right. Red's the color I'm looking for. Yeah, you're right. I'm in the red. I'm down probably not a lot, maybe 500,000-600,000. No,
Okay.
$500-600. Yeah, because I had a good run. Like when I just picked up poker again. The only reason I started playing poker again, like I played a lot in Orlando. I'd play 3 or 4 times a week. I go to the Daytona poker room. I loved it. And I was playing 2-5. So I was getting up there and I was doing well. And then when we moved to Georgia, there was nowhere to play. And so I started playing like these free poker things, which sucks. Back to the Chuck thing. I just can't do it. It's just so pointless because, you have this old lady that's playing King 2 offsuit and she wins and everybody's just playing stupid hands. They're not playing legit hands. So it's not fun poker. It's literally play cards, match cards. If they match, you put chips in and you win. It
probably makes you a worse player too. Like I know in golf, like if you're a decent golf player and you go play on a shitty course, it can really fuck up your game. So like if you're there playing poker and your normal taxes you use when someone over there across the table's got, $100, 150 in, but you got someone across the table that's not putting any money in. I can see how you could be frustrated that, they don't really care about their hand as much, but you do. No. You're playing it like a real game. So it could throw you off when you went back to a real game.
Well, it's also it's important. The guy that taught me how to play poker is an old coworker of mine in Orlando. His name's Otto. He was a really good poker player. He taught me the game and he was a very good teacher. And one of the things that he taught me was that you have to know the value of $1. Like, how do you value $1? If you see $1 on the street, would you pick it up? Of course you would, right?
What's this covered in shit? A shit dollar? Poop dollar? They do that. They do that at colleges.
But most people would still pick it up and clean it off because it's $1. Like it's $1 more than you had before. So you have to know the value of $1. And it's important, especially when you're playing a 1-3 game, is if, like, let's just say there's 2 callers at $3. Like $3 in the whole scheme of things is not a lot of money. But, and you're in the small blind and you have, 10-3 offsuit. It's a horrible hand. Do you want to, would you spend, is that a $3 hand? Do you want to spend, do you want $2? Do you just want to throw away in hopes that 10-10-3 come out on the flop? So you have to know the value of $1. Now, granted, a lot of times these games, especially late nights, definitely at this poker room, the value of $1 goes out the window. And unfortunately, you have to play that game because that's when you can make a lot of money. When people are just like, I'm all in $500 blind. and you have pocket aces and you're like, okay, I'll call you, that kind of thing. There's a lot of people that don't know the value of the dollar. And those are the people, most of the time, they're going to lose, and you can take advantage of them and make your money, because that's what it's about, right? Making the money and winning. So it's all the value of the dollar. And that's what he taught me, is the value of the dollar. Many other things in poker. But anyway, so I started playing poker again right before I left Georgia. There were some like rounders types games that I was going to. Really good games run by really good people. Good action, a lot of action on the table, a lot of fun. Then when I came out here, I didn't play, even though this casino that I go to, Thunder Valley, great casino, is 9 minutes from my doorstep, literally 9 minutes from my doorstep, this poker room. And it is one of the best poker rooms I've ever been in. Some great players, a lot of fun. Everybody's really cool. And it's just fun. And I wasn't playing poker when I got out here, even though it was there, because usually when I go and gamble, I go with my wife. And I'm not going to go in a poker room with my wife. So we'll play like the carnival games, but they don't have Mississippi Stud out here. So we didn't do a lot of gambling. We had all these casinos around us and we loved gambling, but I don't want to play games that I don't really have fun playing. So, and she likes slot machines. So she'll go to the slot machines and I'd dilly dally somewhere else and, spend a couple dollars here and there. It wasn't like our trips to Murphy and Harris, them like that. And then this guy that I used to work with at the old station, the afternoon guy, this guy, Abe, great guy, very good radio personality. He's a big poker guy, and we became friends. And he's like, hey, do you want to go? He started getting me into these tournaments. And so we'll go and play these tournaments together. So he's the one that, it's actually his fault that I'm enabled again in playing all this, this time. So, and I'm joking, Abe, I love you to death. So we'll go over there and play it. Now I'm over there like 3 times a week, playing. And my wife's an enabler, because she knows, again, going back to a conversation that, we had prior with like health issues and stress and stuff from this past year, it decompresses me. Like, it relaxes me to sit at a poker table. And I'll sit there if I told you how long I spent there.
You're going to get blood clots.
Yeah, have someone come over there and massage your legs so you don't have a heart attack.
He's got those tight socks on that old people wear, the compression
ones.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. I'll spend so much time in a poker room at a poker table that I actually do listen to my Apple Watch when it tells me to stand up. I'm there for 12 plus hours,
I don't know how you do. I don't think I can't do anything in general for 12 hours in a row. Unless it's working and I got to fucking do it. But I don't know. I don't know anything last time. Last time I probably did something for 12 hours, I was probably in middle school or early in high school and maybe video games all night, something like that. But God, 12 hours and at the end of it, you've lost money. That would kill me.
Well, okay. So is it worse to sit there for 12 hours in a poker room and walk away a loser, or is it to walk away even, or maybe even $25 up?
Oh, $25 up.
If you're not a big winner, let's just
say. I would say at least even. So that way, you did kind of waste your time, but at least you didn't lose any money doing it. But if you get $25, you kind of look at it and be like, I didn't get paid out. I got like $1 an hour, $2 an hour. But
so the thing is, but he's being entertained.
That's what I'm saying.
Anything you do we talk about when we go to the casino and my wife plays slot machines and she'll throw $100 bill in there and then she's done in like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, and she walks away and I'm like, was that worth it? Was that $100 worth the 5 minutes of excitement? But yet I can go in, place, 10 crazy bets, long shots in, 5 different games for college football, go back that night. And I'm watching football till 2 a.m. or whatever. And I have a stake. Like I care about every game I'm watching because I've got money on it and I can win money. I'm still gambling, but it's given me hours of enjoyment. And when I lose, so Jason, to make your point, when I lose, I don't feel like it was wasted. I enjoyed watching all those games. I enjoyed the time. I enjoyed, thinking, hey man, if this player can score one more touchdown, I'm going to win this money. So with you, you're spending that time, 12 hours, and you're paying $250. It's money well spent, man. Even if it's all gone, it relaxes you. It gives you that, that relaxation and that I think you need it.
It's also like a camaraderie. It's also a competitiveness. Yeah. So here's something also, it's a little weird that you might understand and you might not understand, but because of what we do and what I do and done for a very long time, I am weird like this. I like to learn about people. I like to learn why people do the things they do and why they tick. A poker table is the best place to do that. Like I saw an article the other day. One of my good friends, Bubba Ray Dudley, the wrestler, he's a co-host of a very popular wrestling show called Busted Open on Sirius XM. It's like the #1 sports show on Sirius XM. It's a great show hosted by Dave LaGreca, who is the mastermind behind it. It's got Mark Henry on there, Tommy Dreamer, and they've got a cast of different wrestlers that do it. It's a great show. Anyway, I saw an article that was written that Bubba was referring to wrestling as poker. And he gave a bunch of different analogies. And I was like, what if he was listening? Because, I've said this before, a poker table is like life. And I know it sounds really corny and cheesy, but at any given time, at any poker table, you can go through each individual person, all 9 players, mostly 9 players, and each one is going to represent a sect in life, right? Or somebody that you know. And then you take it up a level because it is competitiveness and you're trying to win money. You're then trying to associate how they play poker and how to beat them. So it's a psychological game. It's like a husband and wife. You don't want to get in a fight, but you want to win. How do you do it? You love her to death and you don't want to play games, but the mind F is coming, right? It's kind of one of those things. So I get enjoyment out of that. There was a guy that was sitting at the table Saturday night, this guy, Jerry. I played with him before. He's a great dude, really good dude. I don't know all the ins and outs. I'm assuming he's very successful in whatever he's done or does. And he knows everyone at the poker room. And he's a very good poker player. He's one of those guys that sits down and 30 minutes later, he's turned $200 into $1,200. He just has that thing about him. I get into a hand with him and I've got 8-9. And anyway, I hit quads. I hit quad 9s. But when the 4th 9 came out, and he was betting into me because that's how he plays. He's aggressive. He's trying to be a bully. And we're sitting there and we're yapping back and forth. He just bought me a drink, we're yapping. We're friends, but it's competitive. We're trying to win money. So I give this big, Hollywood speech on how I don't have a 9, and he calls me out on it. So the flop came 9-9-6, and I bet it because I wanted him to think I did not have a 9. I knew because of the way he plays, he's not going to believe me, and he didn't. So he re-raised me, and I called. I just called because I was like, all right, I'll let him bet into it. Next card comes out as a 9. He bets, and I call. And we're sitting here talking the entire time. And so I'm giving this speech. He's like, you don't have a 9. I was like, well, yeah, I know. But I know you don't have a 9 either. And I know my card is better than your card. And he goes, oh, you're going to give this big Hollywood speech on a 9. Now, most people, when you hit quads at a poker table, you want to tell everybody you hit quads because it's very rare that happens, right? Instead, what I did was we played out the hand. I won the hand. He didn't bet anymore. He didn't even call me on my last bet because he assumed I had the 9 because of the speech. And he goes, like, I'm supposed to not believe you. I said, no, I didn't have a 9. I had a 6, which was the hand I had prior, actually. But I said that because the 6 was out there. He goes, you really didn't have a 9. I said, no, I didn't have a 9. He goes, oh, now I'm mad. So then he was on tilt, which means that he's flustered. He's frustrated. So the next hand that comes out, I had pocket jacks. I raised pre-flop. He calls. Flop comes out. There was a queen. He bets. I knew he didn't have a queen because he doesn't play those cards. He plays everything. I just assumed. And then the rest of the cards were low cards under jacks. Anyway, we get to the river. I bet. I win it. It was like $100 and some pot. And he asked me, he was like, you don't have a queen. Like throughout the whole time. He's like, I know you don't have a queen. And I was like, no, I don't have a queen. I don't have a queen. And so he keeps betting into me, And I flopped it over. He's like, oh, you've got jacks. I said, I told you I didn't have a queen. Just like I told you in the hand before, I didn't have a 9. He goes, what did you have again? I said, I had a 6. He goes, oh, now I'm pissed off. So he got it was funny and he was kind of joking, but I could see that he was actually flustered because he had pocket 7s in that hand. He folded a full house and a better hand because he believed I had a 6. Anyway, the point of the story is the mind games are fun. I love the mind games because you can learn. This guy was cool as a cucumber, right? The whole entire night up until that point when I put him on tilt, Now, granted, he still continued to win money. Actually, no, he got up and left. Him and his buddy went and got food and came back, So like he was a little flustered after that, which was kind of fun.
Are all these people that are going to these tournaments, are they sitting there for the 12 hours like you? or are they coming and going and coming from other tables and getting breaks, or because I don't know how many tables you guys are running, but I mean,
Yeah.
are they
Okay.
there for that long period as
Are you
well?
pissing in a jug also?
Okay, so let's stop there. Again, this is Chuck and not knowing anything about poker. These are two different games we're talking about. We're talking about a cash game and we're talking about a tournament. The tournament is
Confused
done.
as well.
The tournament
Okay,
has been
yeah.
done for hours.
I got confused. We went to the cash game. I didn't know it's a cash game. I thought we were still at the tournament.
I just said
Chuck's
I
like,
want
when's the
100.
pretzel game start? When's the pretzel game start?
I just said I want $100 in the hand. You don't win $100
Oh,
in a
yeah,
tournament.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the best talkers are better listeners, Iron Fist.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
You got to
yeah.
pay attention.
I
gotta
got you
follow
now.
the story. You got to follow the story. So anyway, I think I'm Brandon. I'm going to take your advice because you're the social media guy.
You gotta do videos. Like there was this one guy that did. I'm betting you could do it because I mean you're already betting the money. There's someone that did. Every follower I get, I'll bet 10 cents on a hand of blackjack. So whatever the followers you get, 10 cents times it, whatever. I mean you probably, what is that? 10 cents times 1,000, every 1,000 followers. So you'd have to get 10,000 for $1. That's pretty good.
But see, that's different. I can't be on social media when I'm at the table and I guess I can, but I guess I can, but I'm not going to focus on social media when I'm playing poker.
No. You usually had to have Rachel just snap a picture. I
She's
don't know
not
how legal
there.
that. Oh, I thought she
there.
was going.
No, that's at the table games.
Oh, see, it's all so fucking confusing, damn it.
Jesus.
Just bring a camera with you, set it up on a tripod or something, or ask one of the hosts that brings around the
You
little
can't
drinks.
do that.
You can't take a picture of you sitting at the table like someone else.
No, I can take a picture of me sitting at the table, but I can't put it up on a tripod and bring in a production crew.
We'll just get have someone, all you gotta do is a quick video just to prove you were there and doing it. It'd be like, come out, like, all right, guys, and just, show them your chips or your payout or whatever you got. Be like, we're down this or we're up that or, something like that.
Yeah, I can do that. I can step away from the cash gaming, step away from the table at any time. So yeah, I can step away and you're right. I got to do more social media in that kind of regard. So I might need you to help me out a little.
Yeah, because you're passionate about it and you like it and you know a good bit about it. You know a lot more than I do and probably a lot of other people.
Sure.
So, but I was like, people would probably like it, and you would find the real poker players out there, like the professionals, and they'd be like, or people that think they are, and be like, this guy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, and they start arguing on there. And
poker is definitely one of those. I can't come across like I know everything or anything a lot. Because I am very low. I'm not even going to go there. I'm very low on the totem pole. I'm going to have to make that clear. I'm going to have to call myself the up and comer or the wannabe or whatever, because there's so this guy that I played with yesterday. I played with him before. He was in the tournament sitting next to me, and literally he was down to 2 chips. He had 2,000 left. He played the short stack like I've never seen. He ended up cashing. He ended up acquiring enough chips to stay in and making it to the top 8, I think. This guy is good. Just his mannerisms, how he bet, when he bet. It was a master class. This guy was so good and so smart. And I was like, next time you play cash or something, I want to sit next to you and just watch, because he was just so smooth. Dan Negrano says he's got these masterclass videos on on Facebook. If you're a poker player, it might come up in your feed and stuff. And the trailer for it, one of the things he says, he goes, because your table image is everything. For some reason, people think that I'm this aggressive player that likes to bluff all the time, when I'm not. I'm not at all. I'm actually very conservative, and very rarely do I bluff. And if I bluff, it has to be in the right spot. I'm just not bluffing to bluff because I hate losing money, and I'm a great liar, but I just don't think anybody believes me. So the Daniel Negrano says your table image is everything, and it starts the second you sit down. So I'm always very nice. I'm not the mean looking guy with the hoodie up. Actually, I look kind of nerdy. I look like I look now. I got glasses on and short hair, just look like dude sitting down. So, and I always sit down and say, hey, hi, how was everyone? How's everybody playing? I'm always talkative and for the most part and very nice, and I'm not mean. I don't have the hoodie up and the dark sunglasses and the earbuds in and all that kind of stuff. And I always try to, and I do that because my rub is that I want to befriend people because I want them to talk to me. I want to know more about them. I want to know that if I'm in a hand with them, usually if you befriend somebody and you're losing that hand, you are more likely to be able to bluff them because they don't want to take your chips and they're going to believe you more. So it's all a big act, so from the second I sit down, I'm like, hey, how you doing? See people that I've played with before, give them a pound, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? That kind of thing versus, I'm Bodo, I'm taking all your money, that kind of stuff.
So you just like giving them a hug and then stabbing them in the back instead of just actually just coming up with them to a gun and shooting them.
No, I wouldn't say that. I'm slow.
I mean, you're being deceitful and you're leading them on and lying a little bit. I mean, you got to do, but I think it's easier when they're not your friends. But I get where you're coming from. The fact that you want to learn about them.
Such harsh words. No, I'm slowly poisoning their cookies. Let's put it that way.
You see how much poison it takes to actually kill them. All right, this much just got them a little sick and they threw up some, but
they're doing the same. They're doing the same to me, just in their own little way.
Yeah, that's why it just seems so weird to me. Like why there's friends at a poker table. Like y'all just any second you get there, you're gonna stab the other person in the back. Just seems kind of weird.
That's such harsh. You're not stabbing him in the back. You're winning. It's like if you're playing schoolyard basketball one-on-one, you're probably going to, bump into him or push him over or foul him or something just to win. Doesn't mean you hate the person or you want him to die.
But their intentions are known because you're watching exactly what they're doing. You're like, all right, I know how he, you don't know what the cards are and what's going over there. But if it's like, you're doing a one-on-one basketball, I mean, his moves and how good he is.
Let me put it this way. Okay. So you own a backflow irrigation company, right?
Yeah, it's partly. Yeah.
Okay. Whatever it is. It's a business. You make money off that business, right? You have clients. Yeah. Okay. So when you go to a client, you negotiate, right? Or a job with a client, you like say, hey, look, I mean, you have ethics, you have morals, but the idea is to get paid, to put money in your pocket, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you're not going to be unethical. You wouldn't use the word deceitful, even though I could probably spin it and make it sound deceitful, but you're going to say what you need to say in order to get the job and get paid, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I could easily probably pick any conversation that you've had with one of these clients and say, oh, Brandon, that's a little deceitful. That's a little, you're stabbing them in the back, but that's not the word you would use. You would use more like, I'm negotiating. I'm doing what I can to help out the client. Those types of words, those types of phrases.
I mean, I'm not really negotiating with them. Like the price is the price. You want it done or you want it not. Like, but I'm providing them with a service and a physical, I'm fixing what they already have. If you're at a poker table, you're just fucking the other guy over out of all his money. Like I'm not fucking him out of money. I'm giving them something. I'm installing or repairing or fixing what they already have.
I've always said this is the sum up of poker player. Poker players are the most honest liars in the world. They are. You can sit at a poker table and do and say whatever you need to do within the rules in order to win the hand, to win money. Let's say you have $1,000 in chips in front of you. I can get up and leave my bag and my chips and my cell phone and walk away for 15 minutes, come back to the table, and nothing will be touched. They're just honest people like that.
They're just not thieves.
Right. That's what I'm saying. The analogy is they're the most honest liars there are. When you get up from the poker table, they're not the same person. They're not going to try to, let's say the guy, Jerry, that I was playing with, he bought me a drink. He took money out of his stack to buy me a drink. He was being nice, right? Very sweet people, very nice people. They just like the competitiveness with poker. Not many of them in there are professionals. There are some in there that, pad their income with poker, and there's no doubt about it. They're good enough to do that. Actually, he introduced me to an app that I downloaded. It's called Poker Income. And I've started to now calculate my wins and losses. So like you start out with a bankroll. So my bankroll, let's just say for conversation's sake, is $1,000. So I will put $1,000 in as my bankroll, and I put in $250 for the tournament. And I walked away that day after playing the tournament and cash down, I think $150. So I'm in the red for 150. So I'm down, let's just say, because I'm starting it now. So I'm down for the year for $150. So next time I go back, which will be this week, maybe even today, then I need to win that $150 back in order to get even. and then anything above, which I think will help me leave earlier. Because that's always a problem with a poker player, right? Poker goes in runs. Like you can go on a run and have $1,000 in front of you in an hour or less. And you're like, it's too early to leave. And then when you want to leave, you're now in for another $300. You know,
you're up like 750 and you're like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm supposed to be losing money here.
No,
I want to be,
or you're down 750. I've had that happen before, you know, where it just, you're like, where did these chips go? What happened? You know what I mean? So there's, you know, the fun, like I'm pretty good at walking away when I want to. I'm not there based off of money. I'm based off of if I'm having fun. You know, like on Saturday nights, I'll stay there late because I'm just having a good time. And I don't get a chance to do that, especially during the week because I'm working so much. So, and Rach knows that. I mean, if she tells me, she's like, I'm eating popcorn, watching a movie, and I'm getting ready to go to bed, I'm like, fuck do I need to be home for? You know, watch you sleep. You know, I'm at the poker room. You know where I'm at. I'm not doing anything bad or anything like that. So, and she knows that. So it's pretty cool. Well, which brings me to, I didn't mean to get into this whole conversation about poker, but it brings me into what I was going to talk about in this episode. A little late to get into that. Brandon, you're not going to be able to answer this question, but Chuck will. Okay. Does it drive you insane when your wife thinks you're stupid?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And they all think you're stupid.
Yeah.
Every wife thinks her husband's stupid.
Right. But I'm talking about in particularly something that has happened with you and your wife where she says something to you. And in your mind, the first thing that pops up is, does this bitch think I'm dumb?
Yeah. No, every day. And
no, it can't be every day. It can't be every day. It's got to be.
Well, it's the same incident though, because what women do and what drives me crazy is, and it's notorious, women say, well, you know, a man can't find anything. You know, you have something, and for us, it's the remote control to the garage. We have a garage TV, and I go out the garage, and I watch sports out there. I hang out on the golf cart, man. I chill in the garage, and I take the remote and I put it in the same place, and then my wife grabs it and she cleans up the areas, and she moves it where it can't be found, and then she says to me, "Oh, you know, I guess I have to find everything. You can't, you know, you always lose the remote." I didn't lose the remote. You cleaned up and you moved it to a different location. And so I'm always the stupid one that loses things. But in all reality, she's just going behind me cleaning and then tells me I'm an idiot because I can't find them. So
it's a good example.
It drives me bananas.
It's a good example. All right. She knows she's wrong. She can't remember why she's wrong, but she doesn't want to admit defeat. So she thinks you're stupid and you're going to forget, because us guys have a tendency to forget stuff every once in a while, right? And then you're stupid. I'm an anomaly. I don't forget anything. And my wife should know that by now. And she should damn well better know that I'm one of the smartest men in the world. Okay. Minus this past year. So I get a mulligan for that. Here's why I asked this. It drives me insane when my wife thinks I'm stupid and she knows I'm not and I'm right. And here's the example. The other day, she goes to the grocery store and she texts me while she's there. And she says, this old guy asked me if my old man told me I was beautiful today. Okay.
It's a smooth one right there.
Right. So the text is trying to lead me to believe that this 80-year-old guy stopped her at the grocery store and said, hey, has your old man said that you're beautiful today? But in actuality, because I'm smart and smarter than her, I know exactly what that is. That's her telling me that she got hit on, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, she did.
So I confront her about it. And I don't even ask the story. I just tell her, look, I don't get upset if you get hit on. It's fine. What are you talking about? The text you sent me about the old guy. She goes, yeah, wasn't it sweet that he wanted you to tell me I'm beautiful? How old was the guy?
40,
What's he look
40?
No, this is the response. I mean, he was older than me. He was about your age. I'm not stupid. I know what you're doing. And then, of course, then we get into a little back and forth, right? I'm like, just say the dude. Like every girl that talks to me or reaches out on social media, they're always hitting on me in her world, right? That's what the guy's going to hit on her. She's a beautiful, very attractive woman, right? That's a line. That's somebody hitting on you. Just own up to it. That's all you got to do. But you don't have to make it a bigger deal by thinking that I'm an idiot and not knowing what's going on. You understand what I'm saying?
You don't think there's just a bunch of guys with walkers out there looking for hot chicks and being like, "Hey, lady, does your old man know how lucky he is?" Yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. Yeah. Did she own up to it? Did she tell you that the guy was like hitting on her? Did she say, "Oh no, he had a ring on, he had kids with him, he totally wasn't hitting on me"? Because I've heard that before.
He has no
My
ill
wife will say, "No, he was
intentions.
in a minivan. He was in a minivan." No, he's a minivan dad. He was just saying it because, he just thought I was, attractive and just thought that you should know.
He didn't mean
Yeah,
it like
right.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he meant it like that.
You
Okay,
guys
he meant
always
it like
mean it
that.
like
Yeah.
When will you learn, woman?
Yeah. He definitely meant it like that. How do I know? Because he's masturbating right now. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. She never owned up to it, but it was like, it's almost like women need to have a confrontation afterwards to feel better about getting hit on because they feel guilty, like they did something wrong when they did not, but they feel like if they have a confrontation with you, the husband and or boyfriend, then all that goes away because now the topic of conversation is you two working it out and the deeper issues that are in your relationship, right? Versus that story of just saying, like when I got hit on, and I don't get hit on often, like every blue moon I'll get hit on, right? When I first moved out here, I was at a stoplight. I was actually on the phone with her and this woman pulls up next to me and rolls her window down. It was like a Grey Poupon commercial. And she goes, "Hey, are you single?" Like she wanted to take me back to her place and let me give her a Rogerin, And I was like, "No, I'm not single. I'm actually on the phone with my wife right now." And she says, "Oh, you're a good man. You're a good man." Thinking that if I weren't on the phone with my wife or doesn't matter, I would cheat on her. Like, that's not my style. That's not my thing. I hate cheaters. And so, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm driving away and I'm talking to my wife and I was like, "Oh, that's crazy." And I'm kind of playing it off, but deep down inside, I'm going, Big Daddy Bang Bang still got it. Yeah.
Yeah. You were so proud of yourself. Like that is the thing with us. When a woman hits on us, we're like, man, I can live off that for a month, but the women will sit there and talk to a guy at a location they shouldn't. I mean, there should be no conversation because my wife gets it all the time. Guys, when I'm not around, they'll walk up and talk to her, especially at shows. Like if we're playing like at a bar or something and we're all up there, we're playing and like, especially downtown Atlanta, where you have like Smith's Old Bar or something like that. And my wife's in the audience. And all of a sudden I look over and there's like a guy like just hanging out with her, talking, for like 30 minutes, just hanging out with her, talking. And afterwards, after the show, I'll be like, "Hey, babe," I'm like, "What'd that guy say?" "Oh, he was just the nicest guy. He was just talking to me about, his job and his friends left him. And, he's just hanging out." And I'm like, "Yeah, he was hitting on you." She's like, "No, God, no way."
He just wanted to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they always find like the charity in it and the connection between you two. It's always like, he just wanted to talk. He was not hitting on me. You know what? He's got a second cousin named Charles too. And I just thought that was so odd and he wanted to, so he showed me he had it in the back seat of his car. So I went to his car and he showed me. And I was like, that is so crazy. What are the odds of me meeting someone at a bar with the same name, a second cousin with the same name as my husband? So he was very, very sweet. And he was like, "I've got it tattooed on my cock. And I just want to show it to you."
But he wasn't hitting on me. He was not hitting on me.
Not hitting on me at all. Like it was, you were in the Air Force and you were around jets and you like shot things, and I watched him shoot his stuff. And it was just like the Air Force. It's like, it's just the most asinine comparisons that they try to make you think that you're crazy. It's versus just saying, yeah, the dude was hitting on you. That's all.
Well, I know I've seen it. So I've actually seen it at your events where Rach would be there and guys would walk up and they were actually talking to Rachel about how big of fans of you they are. And they'd never come up to you, but they'd be like, hey, oh man, I'm a huge fan of the Bailey, Bailey and Salsa, whenever you guys, whatever event it was. And you're just like, dude, really? Like, why are you walking up to his wife? And at the time it was your girlfriend and being like, hey, I'm a huge fan. So, what are you doing? It's like, go talk to the guy. What's up?
Well, it's even worse because, she was a realtor, real estate agent. So
yeah.
And there were a couple guys and we had that, like I can spot them a mile away, like it's fine. You're a guy and, you want to, if you feel the need to say something, that's fine. It's fine. Just don't cross the line. That's all I ask. Sometimes guys just their urges get the best of them. And there were a couple guys. There's one in particular that's still out there. Like I purposely went, like he was buying a house every year. It was, I mean, and I'm not exaggerating. He was like buying and selling a house like every year for like 5 years. And then he continues to want to buy and sell. He was always on the phone with her, calling and texting nonstop. And then I started to notice on her social media, I started to be a little creeper action, is what you do is you go and you see the posts when you're together, if they like them, and then the post when you're not together, if they like them.
Oh,
and it was
wildly different. So many chicks, like you go on any chick's profile, if it's her in bikini by herself, thousands of likes. You got a man in there or there's a child,
nothing, zero. So I started to, it was the Bailey algorithm, right? I started to see, and then I'm starting to write it down. I'm like starting to jot notes.
Keeping a log.
I'm keeping a log, and I'm going, this ass Jack, without a doubt. So I go, you know what? I've not met this guy. I hear about him. I hear his voice. I know he's texting at 9:39. I'm going to go on one of these calls when she's showing him a house, but I'm not going to go until last minute. And I'm, cause I'd always get the quote unquote invite, right? But it would be a loose invite and I'd always turn it down because I don't want to go do that. So one day I went last minute. I went, so didn't want it, surprise to me. And I get there and he was tight, real tight and very uncomfortable. And you could tell. And I was like, there's no doubt. I just know it. There's just no doubt.
And that's like a fetish thing too, man. Like that's scary. Like these girls that go out and they're realtors and they're single, or they're not single, but they're attractive and they're going out and they're meeting up with, random dudes and going to like houses that are vacant. That's a thing. That's a thing. And it's scary.
Yeah. And unfortunately, for them, they have to use their looks and almost, like I had to have a conversation with Rachel one time and be like, all right, you're crossing the line a little bit too much with this, like you're a realtor, you don't work at Hooters, so like,
I'm going to need you to wear a bra from now on.
I don't need you to tweak the nips when you go out. Let's just stop that from like right now. Let's just put an end to that. So, it was like too much where you're now to the point where you're asking for it. I'm not talking about like being raped or something like that. I'm just talking about you're asking to be hit on. So because there are girls out there that like it, they want the attention and they're willing to do it. And the guy, it's not his fault. He doesn't know. So it's like, you got to set those lines down in the sand. You got to make sure that they know. And you're just trying to be nice and be sweet. You can't help it if you're good looking, right? You're good looking. That's, my wife's good looking. Chuck, your wife's beautiful. And, it's, a lot of good looking girls out there. So it's a thing. Like you just have to know. And so, I just thought that I think it's funny, women, when you think that we're stupid. Right now, granted, a lot of women listening right now, I can hear you. I know what you're saying. I can hear what you're saying. You're going, well, you guys do the same things, but it's different. It's not necessarily the hit on thing because it doesn't happen to guys as much as it happens to women. We can agree on that, right, ladies? Yeah. It's differently like when we're maybe trying to get away with something, or we're trying to hang out with the fellas, or we screw up, right? And we try to reverse it, do the mind games. It's the same game. It's just played on a different field with a different ball. That's all it is. So I'm not saying that guys don't do it. We do. There's no doubt. But I'm just talking in particular with the hit on thing where y'all try to pawn it off. Hold on, in your defense, I will tell you this, in your defense, like you can't just, I'm assuming you just can't bust out and say, hey, I got hit on today, because then the guy's going to be like, what did you do to get hit on? Like, why did you know what I mean? So there has to be this like weird little game that's played. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is such thing as a guy friend, ladies, but that's only how you keep it there. He will fuck you at any second if you give him the chance. 100%. Even if he's gay. I had a girlfriend who had a gay friend, and they tried sex just because he wanted to see what it felt like.
Genius.
Oh, yeah,
genius.
Yeah. You gotta play the gay card for 6 years. But I'm just saying, most like
You know what I've always
99% of
wanted
your
to
guy
do?
friends would want to bang you.
If
You know
I
what
could,
I've always wanted to do is try it. I've always just wanted to try it.
if I could, if I could do it over again, I would have played that card. I would have been like, I just don't know where I sit. I just,
You're just such a good friend. You can help me out, right?
I just don't know. And I don't want to go off to college not knowing. Can you help me know? Just help me know.
Dude, Jason, you'd have been think about that in high school. Man, the cheerleading squad, like, all right, who's going to take care of Jason this weekend to see if he's still gay?
Right.
Like,
He's getting better.
he is getting better, isn't he?
because to the girl, it's not sex. It's like practice. It's like, it's
like coaching.
Yeah, it's coaching. It's not actually a relationship. There's no emotions involved. It's helping out confused Jason.
We're helping out the confused gays.
And they're not jealous at all. So every time you sleep with another one, it's like, okay, so what did you and Lisa go over? Well, we went over doggy style. Oh, okay. Well, we won't do that. Let's try something else. You're like, okay, let's see what happens.
Whatever you think's best.
I think Linda must be really good at that. He keeps going back to her. So she must be really good with the confused gay guy.
She's getting him out of his funk.
Yeah. And then if you're really a good manipulator, you're like, the boyfriend's like, that's fine. Yeah, you can stay over his house. He's gay. It's no big deal if you sleeping in bed with them. It's not. I remember that was like a thing where the best friend, he wasn't gay, but like the best guy friend was like, dude, the line is, dude, we've known each other since we were 6. Yeah, of course we can sleep in the same bed and nothing's gonna happen. Okay. All right. I buy that. Okay. And then when it does happen, I go, I just don't know what happened that night. It was just, I just felt it and it felt right, But I did it only because I've known him since we were 6.
You know how I know that's so true is because I was that guy. I was the best guy friend to one of these girls that I had known ever since middle school, and she had boyfriends, and I'm sorry to them, but it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, you broke you crossed the line.
Yeah, but see, it's not bro code because he ain't my bro. I would never do it to someone that I care about, But like, if I don't know who the fuck you are, I don't give a damn. You're not my bro.
How old were you when you finally
24
made her realize that you weren't her friend anymore?
Yeah, 10 days ago. No, I'm just kidding. It was a little because we had a thing going on in high school, right? And which is what I can't understand. Had a thing with a girl, we were still friends after that, and then we became friends, and she would just tell people like, oh, that's just my good friend, and then whatnot. And then, things would happen and whatnot. But it's like, to me, I mean, I'm saving a brother. I'm like, look, you dating a hoe, you dating a slut, and now I'm doing you a favor, brother.
I will tell you this, that there was a girl in high school that I had an opportunity to do exactly what we're talking about. And one night, the opportunity was there. It was obvious. And it took everything in my young high school testosterone flowing body not to do it. I mean, it could have been just an amazing run. And I walked away because there was a connection with that girl and one of my good friends.
Yeah, see that's understandable. I get that. I
couldn't
would
do
never
it.
do anything like that. No.
No, but now, Jason, when you look back on it, you regret it, don't you?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Every one of us have that story where you tell people the story and you're like, yeah, so because it happened to me. I mean, I had a good friend that was getting divorced and she called me and she was crying and she said, hey, I'm getting divorced and this is what's happening. I took her out and she had way too much to drink and she started trying to make out with me and stuff. And I'm like, I can't do this, man. Like, I'm not doing this. Like you're going through a divorce. You can be manipulated right now. I don't want to be a part of that. I took her home, dropped her off. And when I tell people the story, that's where I stop. Right. And then and then nobody ever asked, like, if you had it to do all over again, is that what you'd do? And you're like, nope, absolutely not. No.
Well, and it's because, at the time you're in the moment, years later, you look back and no one's still together. You don't have those ties, none of that.
It doesn't matter anymore, but back then it did. And you thought you were doing the right thing. And then you realize, like, I'm an idiot. Like why would I have done that? Like, it didn't, what am I saving? The divorce happened. Like, who cares what he thinks of me? I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
And I'm over here like, no, I couldn't do that to your husband.
Like I think the line is, or where you would say to yourself is like, are you going to determine an outcome? And if you're going to determine a negative outcome, like that would stay with you the rest of your life, then don't do it. Right. But if you're not determining any outcome, you're just a part of whatever the plan is that day. And it's going to happen anyway. And it's going to happen anyway, whatever that may be, whether it's divorce, growing up, separate, whatever. I mean, those are the stories, right?
Don't be a hero, man. Don't be a hero. Just be part of the story. Just be part of the story.
Just be like, there's no need. You don't have to be Ryan Reynolds. Clint Howard works just fine. Be a character actor. You make a ton of money and you're in every movie. You don't always have to be the star of every movie, or you don't have to be the star of any movie at all. And that's the thing. So that's funny. That's really funny. Because, also another thing you don't realize when you're younger is when you get to a certain age, like our age, and Brandon's even entering that.
I'm about to say, whoa, our age. Come on now.
Well, you're getting there. I mean, it comes quick. It's like right after, I mean, you never went to college, but at this age,
I went for a little bit, damn it.
you would be out of college. So now you're into the everything happens real world scenario. So everything that happened before was kind of make believe. It's like I tell my daughter, I'm like going off to Alabama in the fall. I'm like, I at first she didn't want to go to college. In high school she wanted to go into cosmetology and start working and stuff like that. Same with her friends. There wasn't this like yearning to go to college like it was for me. And I'm like, why not? And that's a thing with a generation. Yeah. Maybe Brandon, same thing. But I tell her, I was like, college isn't all about grades. College, in my opinion, is more about being in responsibility purgatory, where in high school, you don't have any responsibility really, right? After college, you have all the responsibility. I'm not talking about legal age of 18. I'm just talking about you're able to make mistakes. College is the advanced making mistakes in life class. So you can make those mistakes, right? But you can still recover from those mistakes. Once you're out of college and you're on your own, it's real difficult to recover from those mistakes. So like I always tell people, I'm so pro college, and it's not for the reasons that people think of, like, why do I want to spend all that money? Why do I want to be in debt the rest of my life? Okay, look, that's a whole other conversation. I'm just talking about the life experience. The things that I experienced in college, I'm glad I learned them then. I'm glad I felt what I felt with my 6-year girlfriend breakup and had to go through that and figure out how to handle that by myself in a place where I wasn't happy at the time, Wingate College, North Carolina. I'm glad I experienced all that. Then I go to UCF and a whole different world opened up. I'm glad that I joined the Greek system and became a Sigma Chi. I still have lifelong relationships with them. I'm now meeting Sigma Chi's across the country that are going to possibly be a sponsor on the show. that I didn't know in college, but I'm meeting them because we're both SIGs. We share that bond, and I'm meeting them through my fraternity brother that I went to UCF with. That's like at the head of the business side of the fraternity now today, because, there are some big name SIGs that, like John Wayne was a SIG, David Letterman, Brad Pitt, all these, a lot of big businesses. The guy that created, I forget what software company, so the networking is great. And there's that automatic connection. That's what I tell my daughter. I'm like, these are connections that you'll have, just like connections in high school, like friendships in high school, you'll have forever. College is on a different level. That's preparing you for the future and your career and those types of things. Should always go to college. College is good.
Don't forget all the orgies.
Yeah, orgies, lots of orgies with, unprotected. No ding dongs being wrapped up. Everyone's getting herpes.
Okay. Yep. I'm talking about my daughter going up to college. I specifically signed her up for the no orgy classes. Thank you very much. You both are giant, humongous hippo dickheads.
She'll have to take these classes on her own time if she wants to graduate.
Nope. Not offered at Alabama. Not offered at Alabama.
Yeah, you got to be your brother or sister to bring.
Correct. Yes. Yep. Correct. Not offered. Class is not there. Thank you for, you both are assholes. That's disgusting.
It happens, man. I mean,
How do you know? You went to like Phoenix online.
No, I went to DeVry.
DeVry.
Hey, them webcam porn stars, man. There's all kind of people jacking off in the same room.
His campus was in a strip mall. He's like, man, we did so many orgies out there in the back by the dumpster.
Man,
I'm telling you, it's crazy.
Phoenix, it's kind of like the online Harvard University. I'm Phoenix proud, go Fighting Phoenixes.
Fighting Phoenixes.
Yes, I know. I stole that from a movie from those that got it. Yeah, I got it. My favorite movies. Where did you go to school? Like
University of West Georgia for 2 years, and I fucking hated it.
What are they?
Where's that at? Is that in Statesboro?
Statesboro, right?
Carrollton.
No, Statesboro is a Georgia Southern or.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Georgia Southern, yeah. Yeah, no. University of West Georgia out there in old Carrollton.
What are their mascot? The Fighting Incests?
No, it's what the fuck are they? They're a bear, I think. Yeah, the Wolves. Wolves. There we go. They just became D1, so kind of cool.
He said they're the bear, I think. Yeah, Wolves.
Same family. Same, they get along out in the woods. They're all together.
Yeah, they all live out there. They're predators.
Same damn thing, Chuck. Shut your mouth.
Met a lot of predators there.
Yeah, the bear wolves.
Yeah, the bears.
They're actually the bear wolves. The bear wolves. That's what they are. They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't settle a name, so it's kind of it's kind of like being named DeAndre. We couldn't figure it out, so we just combined them two. We're the bear wolves.
It was lost in translation.
Oh my god! Go flying bear wolves, man! Go flying bear wolves.
The flying bear wolves. Never seen one like them. They're just here in Carrollton. That's all they are. Fly around all at night. Nighttime they fly around. That's when we win football games too. At nighttime. Do they have a football team?
Yeah, they do. That's the team that just went D1. I think they're in the Sun Belt Conference now.
Sun Belt. That's probably, they're not deep.
That's D1. Yeah, they got moved. It's not like a I mean, obviously it's like SEC where you want to be in the South, but
no, I get
it's
it.
a step up.
Small school. Yeah.
I think they're trying to get Coach Prime.
Yeah, they're not because they got rid of the 1AA, right? So it's what are the two different versions? Like you got the big boys and then you got the smaller schools. There's nothing wrong with smaller school. I played football at a small school. I get it. But you have I don't know if they even have this anymore. They used to have NCAA now, and then the NAIA schools.
Yeah, I think it's a D1 NAIA school. I don't think they're D1 NCAA. I could be wrong, man. I ain't been there in damn fucking 5 years.
Well, that's good. And like when I, because I wasn't talented or big enough to go play at a big school, it was pulling teeth in the 90s because I wanted to stay in the South to go to a school. And there weren't as many programs out there, like, West Georgia, FAU, FIU, none of the schools. Like you had UF, FSU, UCF, which was a 1AA school at the time. I could have gone there, but I didn't because they wanted me just to walk on. They weren't willing to give me anything, and my ego was too big. But my dream school to go to was Valdosta, because at the time, Valdosta State at the time, Valdosta State was the hip snips. They were the powerhouse in Division II football. And I was like, that's where I'm going to go. If I can't be a big dog at a big dog school, I'm going to go to a big dog small school and be a big dog at the small school. They didn't even want me, so I so I had to go to a smaller school, another D2 school. They didn't play Valdosta, but Jesse Tuggle went to Valdosta State. I think he's the pride and joy. Jesse Tuggle played for the Atlanta Falcons. Badass linebacker. All right. Brandon, are you, you know what? We've gone through this entire episode, and this is a Freebae episode. We haven't even mentioned subs for subs. That is, I should have started out the show with this because I'm talking to you. Those are getting the Freebae episode of subscribing to the podcast. That's bad broadcaster right there. I should probably edit this to the front of the show. Anyway, subs for subs, we've started, it's begun. And what we're doing is we've partnered with Capriati Sandwich Shop in Folsom, California, but they're all across the country. It's a national brand that we partnered up with. The best sub you will have. Get the Wagyu cheesesteak. It is absolutely amazing. Or the Bobby. My wife loves the Bobby, which sounds sexual. I know, but it's not. Anyway, for every new subscriber to the BS podcast, by going to thebaileyshow.com, by May 1st, we're going to give a free sub to those in need, homeless, unhoused, whatever term you'd like to use, somebody that is hungry. We're going to go hit the streets of Sacramento and give that out. I've said this time and time before, and I'm like a broken record. For those that aren't in Sacramento and don't care, I get it. I don't think you're a dick for thinking that or saying that. But if this works, I promise you we're going to a different city sooner than later, and we're going to do it. Probably a city that's I know very well, probably a city that I know people in, a city that probably needs this just as much as Sacramento needs it. But I need you to grow it. I need you to help me make this work because I need to show people like Capriati's Sandwich Shop that this does work. Okay. And that means I can't go to them and say, hey, we got 5 new subscribers. Let's go give out 5 subs, which, by the way, so far has not been the case. This has been great. This has been a great launch to this. So please help me grow. We have until May 1st to do this. This is a Freebae episode. So I know I see the downloads and the plays. A lot more people listen to this episode than they do Tuesday, Thursday, and the sub extras that we do on Friday. I get it. I understand it. Not everybody's in. I understand it. I get it. Probably some of you that are listening are just listening to monitor me from what I've learned lately. I get it. I'm living rent free in a lot of people's heads. That was my plan all along, by the way, side note. So just, if you already subscribed, thank you. If you don't, tell a friend. If you don't subscribe and you're wanting to subscribe, now's the best time to do it. If you never plan to subscribe, I beg you, please just subscribe for at least 1 month. Give us 1 month and try all the content that you get Monday through Friday, starting with Honey, I Raise the Kids, and then the BS the rest of the week. All right. Especially every week we have great guests. I mean, we're getting ready to have a run on some awesome guests coming up. So please be a part of this and help out. But I mean, we work a lot. I mean, you tell me another podcast that's doing it 5 days a week. Not too many of them out there are doing 5 days a week. And so we are. And I mean, we're trying to rebuild this brand. So please just go to thebaileyshow.com and subscribe. And if you already do, like I said, tell somebody and spread it on social media. I'm posting these little clips out there. So just, share them, tell somebody, hey, look, I subscribe. This is what they're doing. It's pretty cool. Good guys, good people. All right.
Yeah. Share them on your story on Instagram.
And hey, Jason, can we refer to them as non-home dwellers?
Bro, you can say whatever I don't know. Like I say homeless, and then I know here in California, they don't say that anymore. They say unhoused. I think all the words are silly. And I think it's one of those things where you have people that aren't it changing the terms because they assume when those people that we're actually talking about don't give a shit. You know what I mean?
They're like, bitch, I ain't got a house. However way you spend it, help me out, damn it.
Yeah, I don't
care what you call me.
Yeah.
I don't
give me some
damn
fucking help.
Right. I don't give a damn what you call me. Just help me out. I agree. It's kind of like the old Washington Redskins thing.
Yeah.
Cleveland Indians.
Yeah. Braves. The Braves are under attack.
Yeah. You always see the stories of the tribal councils, and they're saying, we don't care. Like,
they're actually suing some of these organizations, saying like, hey, you were representing us on the field, the football field or the the baseball diamond or, you know, wherever. And they're like, why the hell did you take us away?
Right. It's always the guy that's in the corner office that's got the white guilt or whatever the case may be that thinks that he's got to change the world. And, you know, I think it's like an old school mentality or an old person mentality where they're thinking like, if I do this, people are really going to like me because they can see me making changes for the better. But you're not even asking the people you're making these changes for, you know, and you're just doing it because you're automatically assuming. That's the thing. Like, trust me, I'm speaking no ill will of those that are unhoused or dwelling, or whatever you said, Chuck, or homeless. I'm just here to help, you know. And if you're looking at it going, well, of course you are, Bailey, because you're getting a subscriber. Yeah, I mean, gimmicks work, right? If there's a gimmick behind this, I mean, you can't even go buy a sub for $5. You tell me where you can buy a sub that I'm giving out to these people for $5. You can't. What we're giving you for $5 a month is a lot. You know, nowadays, the subscription-based stuff is like second nature. We've gone up a level from that. For every subscription that you purchase on these apps, whether it's Peacock or Prime or whatever the case may be, you're now paying on top of that, like for no commercials. How much do you pay for Amazon Prime, right? 100 and some bucks now. Used to be like $79.99. Now you're paying 100 and some bucks. I know I do, right? Then you go to Amazon Prime where you used to be able to get the movies for free. Now you got to rent or buy most of them, all the good ones, right? So then you watch the ones and they've all got ads. You're like, well, I buy Amazon Prime. Well, now you got to get premium to do that. It's just that's the world we live in. So, I mean, am I a part of that? I guess so. I'm just trying to make a living. And that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make a living. I mean, you know what I went through this past year? I'm not going back to that. This is it. I'm too damn good at what I do, and I can put together a team like I put together once again here to entertain you. And yeah, I'm telling you, I'm asking you for $5 a month for my work. And I work every single day. I know we just did a whole poker run and stuff. I work every single day with social media, editing, content, booking, meetings, networking, so on and so forth. I work hard. I work more now than I did when I was working in terrestrial radio. And I love every second of it. You know why? Because terrestrial radio, corporate radio holds you back from doing the things that we're doing. I can tell you right now, the subs for subs idea that we're doing is totally a radio bit, because I'm a radio guy. It's what radio should be doing. I will tell you, if I were to come up, obviously not the subscription part of it, but that idea, if I were to go to corporate in a corporate setting, I'm not saying any particular company, I'm saying all of them, you wouldn't get it approved. Well, first off, you wouldn't get an answer for weeks if you ever did get an answer. And most likely the answer is going to be, why don't we wait? Because then they're going to try to sell it. And you're going to go to some lackey in the sales department that's not going to know how to sell it, never sell it. So now you're months into it, your idea that's not going anywhere. And that's when they forget. Because the people that you have to ask don't care, right? They don't have time to care. They just don't care, or they don't get it because usually they're not smart enough or trained enough to understand what radio people do. And then even if you do get it approved, you know the next thing they got to do? They got to send it through legal. And you know what legal's going to say? No. Why?
Do it.
It's a liability. Why? Didn't you see that story 18 years ago? The homeless guy that killed the guy? That was 18 years ago. Well, it could happen again.
They might have an allergic reaction to the sandwich and die on the street.
Yeah. I mean, where I was just at, they're still scarred. I mean, it was like years and years ago, one of the stations at a morning show, they killed somebody. They did a bit. My friend was on that show. It was like a hold your pee for wee bit and stuff like that. A great idea in theory, right? In theory, it was a great idea. But unfortunately, somebody lost their life. And that has stayed with, they had to like change the name. I mean, like rebrand it totally. They had to, like, that still sticks with them, unfortunately. And that's sad. Like that's sad that sticks with them and they have to deal with that. And then everybody around them have to deal with that. And that's just a crappy situation because nobody moves on from things like that. I've seen it very few times people have moved on, but very rarely they do. And definitely corporate radio does not move on and legal does not move on. You know, they're always under that thumbprint. I mean, there are things that I wanted to do. I wanted to do, for Valentine, actually, I'm looking at the ideas on my whiteboard right now. I wanted to do Axe the X. So an acquaintance of mine, he's part owner, you know, those axe throwing places. And I wanted to do a bit where people would send in stuff from their exes, and we would put it up on the target, and you would throw an axe to axe the X. Thought it was funny. It was good audio and stuff like that. Couldn't do it. Legal wouldn't let it. And then I was like, well, I want to do a bit called the relationshipper, which is not my original idea. Saw a guy years ago do it. It wasn't executed well, and it was a bust for him, but the idea was awesome. Where you bring a tree chipper out, and people will bring in stuff from their exes, and you put it in the tree chipper, relation chipper. Love the idea. Great audio for radio. Right now, Brandon's going, after I blow up this hole in my backyard, I'm doing the tree chipper thing. And Bailey's on.
I got a chipper, Brandon. I got a chipper.
There we go, Chuck. We got it right here. We'll make it happen.
I can just see him doing it right now. But we couldn't do that because legal said no. And it's from the talent standpoint, it pisses me off because it was creative. But from the business standpoint, I understand. It's kind of what we were talking about with Mike McVeigh the other week, is that it's just radio's changed like that. It's all about liability. Can't have interns. Why? Because some girl years ago sued a company because she worked for free. She didn't understand what an intern was.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember right after you got fired, and then, we had that, whatever ragtag team was left up there, where we, Atlanta, they were asking for ideas, and I put everybody on an email, and we had a marker that, the PD was talking about, then he turned into morning host, tried to, said, we got a marker out in Snailville, one of those people with the little listening devices, that we need to get more people out of Snailville. I was like, we should do snails in Snailville. I'll go out in there like a snail costume. We'll have like escargot on the side of the road or somewhere. And like, if someone finds me and eats snails with me, they get like concert tickets or some shit like that. Didn't get one reply. Wouldn't that be crazy? You see someone eating snails on the side of the road in a snail costume?
They're called
You
meters.
were so high. Dude, he was so high. I can't even imagine the email. Hey, man, I got a snail costume I've had for years. You guys need to let me don this thing, eat some escargot. I'll get so many people to stop on the side of the road and have snail. Dude, ain't nobody going to stop on the side of the road and eat snails with a snail. Ain't going to happen.
They're listening to the radio. They'd be like, what? He's doing what in Snailville? I thought it'd be good, man. It's pretty funny. I thought it would work. I didn't even get a response back.
Well, but that room, that wasn't their strong suit.
I mean, not even like, just tell me a no, like why it wouldn't work. Like, you bastards didn't even say nothing to me. I came in the next day. I'm like, I'm not even going to bring it up. Fuck it.
Yeah, but because it wasn't their idea, and it wasn't from 20 years ago, and that was the room you were dealing with. Like, I saw, I don't know why, because I do not follow this person, but somebody I worked with in my past, for some reason, they always pop up in one of my feeds, and he had posted a picture of an old bit where he's in a police costume. And that was my bit. That was my idea, to get him out of trouble with the cops and to save face, because he was an asshole to the cops. And so that was all my idea. And somebody had posted, taking a shot at me, I guess. And he replied back, like, dude, have some class. Like, you had no ideas. Like, creative was not your strong suit, and that's fine, but just don't take my shit. Just give a little credit where credit is due. I do. Whether I like you or not. If you did good, I will say you did good. If you did bad, I'll say you did bad. I'm just be honest, and be honest with your audience too. That's the most important thing. And that's the other thing you get with us, I'm so honest, by the way, that I'm being monitored constantly. I'm being harassed. I'm being threatened, for assumed things that I'm saying, which aren't always what they're assuming. I know everybody wants to think that I'm talking about them, that I'm not. Believe it or not, I do know other people, and there are other people in this world, but it's crazy, especially from the little guy on the little podcast that nobody listens to. Why do we care so much? It's just crazy. Anyway, I live rent free, and I love it. And that was my whole point to do this past month anyway. It's just to live rent free, because it drives certain people nuts. So you get that from us, right? You never know what's going to happen. Like, literally, you don't know because you know what, right now in my life, what I'm going through on all different sides that I'm getting shot at, I'm in a foxhole, right? And it's not just team A versus team B. It's team A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Z versus Jason. And they're all shooting at me, right? I'm just asking for a little help. I'm just trying to make subs for subs work. That's all I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to dodge bullets left and right every single fucking day. You know, so if you could just throw a bone to a brother and make this work so I can take it to a different city and blow it up and make it big. You know, people laughed when we started this podcast 3 years ago, laughed. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you're going to throw it. Oh, this little podcast in port. We had people drive 7 hours to come to the first podcast in pours at Pontoon Brewery in Sandy Springs. 7 hours a dude drove. And then what do? Then we throw a ticketed event for Halloween with a national band. A fucking podcast did that because we're clever. Idea guys. And we care about our audience. Unfortunately, most radio does not anymore. We do. And that was, again, go back and listen to the conversation with the McVeigh. But in order to do so, you got to be a subscriber.
That's probably why we're not on radio.
Yeah, this is the best content I've put out in a long time. And what's so great about it is it gets me out of my comfort zone. I mean, look at that. It was horrible. I'm now just mentioning subs for subs, and we're like an hour and 20 minutes in this episode. That was so fucking stupid. I'm assuming that somebody's listening to this thing for an hour and 20 minutes. I should have just busted out of the gates with it. But I don't know. We started talking about poker and we got off on a run. But it's like the most honest conversation you're going to hear. I'm not saying we're better than any other podcast. No stretch. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that this is good. And it doesn't suck. And it's, I think, entertaining you. If not, this will. Because I know Brandon, I'm sure, has an amazing question. Here we go.
One question with Brandon.
By the way, this thumbs up thing that keeps happening on my Zoom, by the way, these shows, the Freebae shows, Monday and Wednesday, the whole episode, if you're a YouTube person, up on our YouTube channel at The Bailey Show, at The Bailey Show. I don't know if it's coming from Zoom or not. I think it might be coming from my camera. I think my camera's got something in it.
You know, just to be safe, I would just say cut off your thumbs.
I'm about to, because it's driving me nuts. And it's weird. It's like, it'll pop up, not every time because I talk a lot with my hands. It'll pop up. It doesn't pop up on y'all's side. It pops up on my side, but it pops up at moments where I know I'm right, or I need somebody to agree with me. So it's almost like a ghost talking to me.
Just agreeing.
I think
with
the
yourself.
people that are listening probably think you have Tourette's, because you'll be talking and you'll do it and it'll pop up and you'll be like, yeah, and then God dang it. And then you'll just go on and you're like, yeah, so anyway, and then I'm all, God damn it. And it's funny because every time you do it, like, I mean, I've been laughing about it for a long time, but every time you do it, I just listen and I'm like, God, he sounds like he has freaking Tourette's. Like, people are going to think this dude's got some type of medical thing going on.
Which means you should go and purchase the I Have a Touch of the Tism t-shirts. The BS merch store, thebaileyshow.com. All right. Brandon.
Okay. This is a real one I need to know. It's been a question I think that man has asked for the past probably 50 years. Why have we not been, or anybody, been back to the moon?
That you know of.
Because we never went in the first place.
Okay, so that was one of the ones I was expecting.
Hold on for a second. You don't really believe that, do you?
What?
That we never went to the moon. You
don't really believe we went, do you?
Come on, you're tugging my pug right now, right?
No. Dude, you mean to tell me you think that when we originally went to the moon, we had the technology to not only go to the moon, but orbit around the moon, send a small craft down to the surface, get out of that craft, walk around, bounce around, whatever, plant a flag, get back in this little modular, spacecraft, go back up to an orbiting aircraft, dock, get in it, and fly home. That technology you think was existing 60 years ago when we can't do it today?
I think even if it did exist, it should be easy as hell to go to the moon now then if we had that back then.
We can't. When you look at why they're not going back to the moon, it's all about that. It's all about the syncing up, like trying to leave the surface of the moon in a smaller aircraft and dock with the one that's orbiting. You have a very small window, and they can't do it. And I will say, I spent some time with Buzz Aldrin when he was still alive, RIP. When we talked, you know what? All the stories he had to tell me were about how many supermodels he slept with, and not one story about the moon landing. Like, not one. Like, because I'm thinking like this guy's gonna be like, oh my God, yeah. So let me tell you about how stressful it was and what we did. No, it was about, yeah, man. So we were in Palm Springs and I was with these 3 supermodels. And I mean, yeah, man. So there's your answer. We never
Okay.
went.
You asked me a question. I haven't answered it yet. You, not Brandon, but Chuck. Brandon asked the question. We still haven't answered that. But Chuck asked me a question and said, you do believe that we landed on the moon? And if I were to answer when you asked me that 2.5 minutes ago, I would have said yes. But since that time, you have now convinced me that we have not landed on the moon for the sole reason that you actually spent time with Buzz Aldrin when you were in the Air Force, and that the only thing he could talk about was banging supermodels. I'm not joking. I know it sounds funny, but I've got to tell you, that's the most compelling reason not to believe we landed on the moon. I kid you not, because I know if I landed on the moon, that's all you would hear about.
That's the first story, at least.
Yeah, not one time. And I even asked him because when we met, I spent quite a bit of time with him. I mean, I was with him for at least 2 hours. And you know, when I got comfortable, because he's a very, very nice man. He was very, very sweet. And we were talking, and I was like, hey man, how pissed were you that you weren't the first one to step on them? Like was it a draw straw situation or what?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh no, I didn't care. But you know, I hung out with Nixon. And when I hung out with Nixon, would you believe that guy could drink me under the table? And you're like, what? Like, why aren't we talking about the moon landing? And so I kind of scratched it as like, maybe he just, you know, he talked about it for so many years. He didn't want to talk about it anymore. But then when you start looking at the evidence, you start looking at it, like, I'm not a conspiracy theorist by any means, but it just doesn't make any sense.
The Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Yeah.
Like
They said
Brandon
the moon
said,
landing was
I mean,
made in a Hollywood basement.
Yeah. I mean, that shit,
I mean,
that Californication song's having a big resurgence right now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, dude. People, because like if you're just listening to it, I never really like looked at the lyrics, but a lot of people have been putting up lyric videos and like everything they say, they're like, oh, they're conspiracy theorists for sure, and some of what they're saying makes sense.
So
is that a conspiracy theory though? I don't think it's conspiracy.
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean, who
it is.
cares?
Oh,
Who cares?
absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely, it's a conspiracy theory. So I got to tell you, I got to be completely honest with you. I've always believed we landed on the moon. To answer your one question, Brandon, up until now, 4 minutes and 22 seconds ago, just because of that, that is, I mean, I've completely changed my mind. The only problem is now when I have to defend my answer, I'm going to have to call you.
I call Chuck every time. I got an expert on this. Hold on.
Right. Because they're going to be like, who's Chuck? And why should I care? And I'm going to be like, no, you don't understand. The guy's was in the Air Force. He was in Homeland Security. He's a veteran. Blah, blah, blah. He hung out with Buzz Aldrin. Think about it. And so they got to meet Chuck. I'll get him on speaker. Hold on for a second. And I'm going to convince you we didn't land. Kid you not, dude. No other reason. The studio, the flag, all that other stuff I bought into, hook, line, and sinker. It's just that. It's the human aspect of it. As a human being, especially if you're older, that's all you do as an old man is tell stories about when you're younger. You land on the moon. Think about this. God almighty, I can't believe I'm buying into this. Holy schmuggles. You think about this. Chuck, you're what, 47, 48?
45.
45. All right, I'm 48. Brandon's 25. What stories do you tell the most? I know I get beat up for this all the time because I'm always telling old radio stories and about this and about that and about this and about that, you know, but that's what we do. The older we get, we don't, for some reason, tell current stories as much as we do older stories because they have more, I don't know, oomph to them, right? So Buzz Aldrin, when you were hanging out with him, had to be in his 70s, right?
Oh yeah. He passed away probably 5 years after I hung out with him.
Okay, so way up there. The dude has got no other story to tell but that story. That's the story you tell.
Yeah, that's what he's known for. Like, you gotta tell. Like, that'd be like if a baseball player like that's won like a couple World Series and he's just talking to you about, oh, what about the World Series? Like, yeah, I hit a ball and it went out of the stands, you know, whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right.
And he wanted, I mean, he literally, he wanted to change the subject. Cause I mean, there were guys there that, you know, that I was with that, you know, they made the joke. A couple of them had made the joke like, hey, did we really land on the moon? And what's crazy is he would just like laugh about it. Like he just wanted to talk about anything other than that. And I mean, I kind of, like I said, I chalked it up as, if you did it, maybe he's sick of telling the story, but like you said, Jason, you do something like, I mean, that's a huge deal. I mean, when Chuck Yeager broke the sound barrier, I was in Edwards Air Force Base, California. And when we met Chuck Yeager, the dude was old, man. And he had broke it 50 years before that. I don't think he talked about anything else. Like he would literally be like, see that dry lake bed over there? That's where I broke the sound barrier. Have a good day. It'd be like, oh, okay, cool. That was weird. So I mean, Chuck Yeager kind of, he embodied what you're saying. Buzz Aldrin embodied hanging out with presidents, hanging out with supermodels, the life he lived after that event, whatever that event was. That the moon landing had nothing to do with his history to him.
So to give a couple other examples, Clint Ford, am I saying, is that his right name? Clint Ford, the security for JFK.
Ooh, I don't know.
Was that Secret Service or what?
Yeah, Secret Service. The guy we had in the studio in Atlanta. One of the most amazing conversations I've ever had with a guest. And he wrote the book and he was there. He was at the car, and all that good stuff. I mean, I think he's now passed away. I mean, he was old when he was, in there. I mean, obviously he's old, but at that age, wrote a book. I mean, that's his story, right? That's all he would tell is the story of JFK, being there in Dallas, assassination, taken to the hospital, all that stuff. That was his story. Okay. Again, to the point of you're older, you have your story. That's the story. What's his name from Skinner? That was in the plane crash. Came in the studio.
Pyle.
Yeah.
Artemis Pyle.
Artemis Pyle.
There you go.
Every time we had him on, same story. That's all he would tell is being on the plane. Johnny Van Zant looking back, smiling before the plane went down. Like the same story. It was almost like it was scripted because he's told it so many times. That's his story. I'm not making fun. I'm not taking shots. That's his story. Buzz Aldrin, that's your story, dude. And you're talking about banging supermodels. That's a deflection.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I didn't wake up this morning thinking that this is heavy. This is heavy, man. This is big. I mean, that's a big change in a thought process to go through that quickly. I don't know if I can process this.
That's look, man. That's why we need a sponsor for Brandon's one question again. Look at that. We're breaking conspiracy. I didn't even know Chuck met Buzz Aldrin before I asked that question, but he solidified me.
Yeah, that was. I mean, and
Wow.
I was an air marshal for 6 years, man, and I met a lot of celebrities. I spent a lot of time with Sandra Day O'Connor and there was never anything that they would say to me, or I guess conversations we would have that I would be like, well, that's weird. That was a weird conversation. Well, John Malkovich was weird, but I just feel like he's weird anyway. But you'd meet these people and you're like, but Buzz Aldrin, at the end of it, like I said, man, every guy that was there and everybody talked to him afterwards, we were like, dude, there's no way we went to the moon. Like there's zero chance that happened. Zero. Like we were all just like laughing, like, yeah, whatever. And I mean, none of us cared. I mean, to this day, I still don't care.
That's nuts, man. And now you see what's happening with China. Like people thought Reagan was crazy with Star Wars, and he wanted to put together a defense in outer space, which is quote unquote illegal. And I say quote unquote because it goes on. There's no doubt that there's spy satellites, there's weapons. I mean, at least I believe that. But now you see countries like China are openly talking about the fight is going to space. Like who can take over the moon? Because that would be the easiest place to take over. And I mean, you're shooting shit at people from the moon. That's a tough one to defend, right? Yeah. So like, that's the next war. Reagan saw it in the 80s and he was trying to fight it.
I honestly think that, because I mean, Russia technically went to the moon first. They fucking crashed a rocket into the moon. They're like, we made it. We hit it. Our fucking space junk's up there. But I think
they all died, but we made it.
Yeah. They ain't coming home, but they got there.
Do you really make a vacation if you don't get there alive?
I don't know. I just think that America might have been like, dude, it's clearly not possible for anybody to fucking get to the moon. But if we fake it and make people think we went, all the other countries are gonna be like, damn, their shit is super advanced. Like they're going to the moon right now. That's crazy. Like, but you know, I mean, I do camera tricks all the time, and I'm a fucking idiot with a damn regular phone. You know, I mean, what can a Hollywood studio with billions of dollars do?
Yeah, and bad CGI.
Yeah, well, I mean, they probably saved the good CGI for the moon.
God, man, that's so heavy. Like I used to be I used to be a big conspiracy theorist just because I know it rattled cages with people, but now times have changed. And there's so many people that are conspiracy theorists. So I take the opposite approach and I believe everything because that rattles people's cages. I just like to annoy people. But this one, man, I got to jump like in the way that you're looking at me right now. Like you were dead serious. Like I thought you were jerking me around. You're dead serious. And you're like looking at me like I'm the idiot, and I'm starting to believe you because I'm looking at you going, yeah, I think he's serious. And you're not a dumb guy. You've done a lot more in your life than I'll ever do. I'm going, I'd be an idiot not to believe this Chuck guy. Holy shit. My mind is blown.
I mean, I just think there's some things, man, and again, for another show, we can talk about it, but just, I mean, do you believe in aliens or do you think that we are the only life in the galaxy?
I'm afraid to answer.
Got to be aliens, man. I feel like there's got to be. It's too scary to. It's scarier to think we're alone versus scary to think there's something out there that could like eat our whole planet.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Let's see if I get this right. I do believe in aliens. Please tell me you didn't hang out with one.
So, I think that the correct answer would be we are not alone.
Yes.
That would be the correct way to put it. Now, when you're talking about aliens, I think people think like little green men on spaceships are going to come down and they're going to blow up the world, right? That's not realistic. But we can talk at a later time about.
I'll say, what the fuck have you seen? You've seen something?
No, I just
stuff. Air Force.
There's
stuff.
there's no way we're alone. Like that's zero chance, zero chance that's even an opportunity. But I don't think that it's what people think. I think that you got to take into consideration different aspects when you're talking about, our sun is a star. And when you look into the galaxy, every time you see a star, that's a sun. Well, that sun can, have a planet, which is Earth, which is sustainable of life. And if you look up and you see all those stars and they're all suns and they can all promote life on planets such as Earth, but none of them are close enough to reach us. Evidence would show that there's life out there that's being sustained by those stars. And some of them have higher capabilities than we do. But that doesn't mean that they want to cause any, damage to
harm.
us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know there was that story back in probably like 2016 that there was this thing millions of light years away, and then we would see a flash, and then it would be blocked out and see a flash again, and they determined it was a mega structure that was feeding off of this star. They don't know what it is. They just know this, whatever this was getting energy and sucking it out of the star. And that's right there. I mean, but that shit happened millions of years ago because we just saw it, 4 years ago, and that takes forever for it to get here, which that blows my mind in general.
So here's my theory on aliens. Okay. I agree. They're not these they're different, but they're not what we like, all these little green men, that kind of thing. I think it's very similar to if you take the United States of America, first world country, then you take a third world country. Okay. Now we're very far apart as far as, distance, but we're not far enough apart that we can't get there. They can't get to us because they don't have the technology. We could get to them because we can fly across the Atlantic and go see them or whatever the case may be. Follow me here. Okay. When we go see them, most likely they're going to look different. They're not going to be as healthy. They're going to have different skin tone, maybe skin color, facial features, so on and so forth, characteristics, way of life, how they act because of their upbringing and maybe their unfortunate circumstances throughout their life. I kind of look at that with aliens. We would be the third world country. So there is a higher version of us that looks different, acts different, skin color, whatever the case may be. They can get to us. We just can't get to them. But we have things that they need to utilize. They might be just as scared of us as we are. I mean, how often, Brandon, have you gone and visited a third world country because they have some kind of medicine that you're never going to go, right? But you could go if you wanted to. And I think it's the same thing with, as we call them, aliens with us. In fact, maybe they are more godly than we know of, or they might be a god where years and years ago, in order to create a civilization, they helped with that. I mean, really, do you think we came up with the microwave? That's like the great, or the spork. I mean, like that's alien stuff. The spork, come on.
Well, I think the best way to solidify your metaphor there is North Sentinel Island. Yeah, y'all heard of that, where like all the preachers go and they get murdered. Yeah, they get eaten. Those people lived on that island for generations. They don't know anything besides that island. They're in their own little world. So when you got someone like a white man coming up there and they got guns and they've got food and they come on a boat and they're preaching this word of God, they're like freaking out. They don't know. I mean, to them, that's an alien.
Right.
I guess it depends on what you define as an alien.
And Jason, what you said, you're like, you're on it. And I mean, if you think about it and you think about life on other planets, taking you as you are, but giving you the advanced technology of thousands of years and saying, hey, you're going to go to an Earth on this star that is located X amount, light years away. And you went, now you could walk around that Earth and nobody would know you're an alien. You're going to look just like everybody else. Now your advancements are going to be way higher. So what you need to do is Google, and this is all open information. It was before Congress. The individual testified, I want to say 9 months ago.
Yeah.
And he testified about the biologics that they found. And they kept saying, well, was it an alien life form? And he said they were biologics. And they said, okay, well, what does that mean? And he said they were biologics. And he kept using that term. And everybody was like, well, what is that? What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. It does. It means that our bodies are made up of biologics. And if they found a craft and it had a human inside of it, but the technology was thousands of years in the future that we had no idea what it was, how do you explain that?
Mm-hmm.
You can't. So it's one of those, like, we don't know how to explain it. I mean, Jason was inside this thing.
We're going way too long in this episode. I could go for like another 2 hours. That's like, my mind is blown enough right now. Like I don't know how we got from poker to I don't believe that we landed on the moon. This is,
I think the sun's coming up outside for us here in Georgia.
Yeah. You Freebae episodes really got a good one today. I got to tell you, like, wowzer, man, just wowzer balls. Okay. Subs for subs. Please subscribe, thebaileyshow.com. Thank you to Capriati's Sandwich Shop, Folsom, California. Again, if they've got one in your state, in your area, go grab a sub from them. We're doing good things for every new subscriber up until May 1st. A homeless person will get a sub. We'll pay it all off. That's for another day and another conversation, but it's going to be fun. I'm going to introduce you to a character here shortly, maybe even by the end of this week, that will be helping out with that process. So I got a whole shebang up there. Give us a like, share, follow on social at Listen to the BS. All this information on thebaileyshow.com, including signing up for the newsletter that I send out weekly, as well as the BS merch store, where I'm always putting up new designs. Last but not least, on YouTube at The Bailey Show. Please subscribe to the channel. Obviously, that's free of charge. Tons of content up there. Always new content. Just need more subscribers. Go up there. Help the process, help us grow. If we dig us, we dig you, you dig us, I dig you. Everybody digs each other, and we get to win and continue to do this. Brennan, you got anything before we get out?
No, man, we talk about these conspiracy theories and or hate for the government all the time on the Clues 2 podcast, which it's free if you want to listen to it. So then we dive in a little crazier.
All right, there you go. The Iron Fisted one.
I'm going to Google a snail outfit, and I'm going to see if they're breathable, because maybe you'll see me on the streets of Snellville.
Snailville.
Snailville.
Okay, real quick. Do you believe in psychics, Chuck?
No.
Okay. I'm booking one that's been on the show before, specifically for a reason. He's not doing a media tour, but I'm having him come on because of everything that I've gone on this past year. And I got something else, actually, I was going to talk about today, never got to, that I'm going to ask him about. He'll make you a believer. Think he's an alien.
Exactly.
Ooh, shit.
All right. Again, thanks for listening. Have a great, safe rest of your day whenever you listen to this. Appreciate the support. Until next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening. Till next time, check out thebaileyshow.com. Make sure you like, share, follow on all socials. I leave you with these parting words.
Never got a pink slip either. You know what I would get? A guy would come around to my desk and say, "Get the fuck out of here."
What do we want to talk about?
Subscribe at thebaileyshow.com. Yeah, baby.